Good evening and welcome to the Monday, June 7th, 2021 meeting of the Frankfort Village Board. Our first item here is to call to order, and Madam Clerk, Katie Schubert, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Ogle?
Here.
Trustee Petro?
Here.
Trustee Borelli?
Here.
Trustee Rossi?
Here.
Trustee Lennon?
Here.
Trustee Severia?
Here.
Trustee Farina?
Here.
Clerk Schubert. Attorney Lamore?
Present.
Village Administrator Pisha?
Present.
Police Chief Barika?
Present.
All right. At this time, please stand and let's say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, before we start the meeting tonight, I would like to send congratulations out to all the graduates from kindergarten through grade school, high school, and into college. It's an exciting time for all of you as you're embarking out on new things in your life. One other thing to draw attention to is that we have our village board packets, the same thing that the trustees and the board get, are now on our website for the last meeting and this one. They are in a draft version. There are things that we are going to be discussing, but we have not voted on yet, but they are on the website. So if you want to follow along, it's out there for you. And this part of the meeting is called the unanimous consent agenda. All items on this consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature, and they will be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member so requests, in which case that item will be removed and will be considered separately. So at this time, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Trustee Farina.
Second.
Second by Trustee Petro. Is there any discussion or anyone want to remove any items? Okay, hearing none. We are going to go through and we will make, briefly, we'll discuss these items on here so that the people that are watching at home or on demand at some point understand what it is that we are voting on. So the first item was the approval of the bills and the payroll, and we will go to Trustee Severia for a report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The bills tonight equaled $2,128,346.99. Payroll for May equaled $412,752.98. We continue our dedication to purchase locally as demonstrated with line items from Alsip Nursery, Curry Motors, Home Depot, Miniman Press, Park Ace Hardware, just to name a few. And that concludes the bills tonight.
Thank you, Trustee Severia. And now we have an item from the Plan Commission, and we will go over to Trustee Borelli.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The applicants Mike Michow and Cindy Bertrand propose constructing a new 4,091 square foot single family home on the vacant lot located at 99 North White Street. The proposed home is designed in a shingle style architecture with its facades finished predominantly in non-masonry composite siding to accommodate construction of the proposed home. The applicants request approval of a first floor buildings material variance and a rear yard setback variance from the east property line. At the May 27, 2021 public hearing held on the project, the Plan Commission forwarded two unanimous recommendations to the Village Board to approve the variance request subject to dedication of prescriptive right-of-way to the village. The final plat of dedication will require a review by the Plan Commission and final action by the Village Board, the dates for which have not been set. The motion before us tonight is to accept the Plan Commission recommendation, waive the first and second readings, and pass an ordinance granting a first floor building materials variance from the masonry requirement to allow non-masonry siding and a rear yard setback variance from 30 feet to 23.4 feet along the eastern property line to accommodate the construction of a new single-family residence located at 99 North White Street in accordance with the reviewed plans and public testimony and conditioned upon dedication of prescriptive right-of-way to the Village of Frankfort.
Thank you, Trustee Borelli. Our next item on here, we'll go to Trustee Farina, and it's another item from the intergovernmental agreements.
Thank you, Mayor Ogle. Before us tonight is the renewal of a 10-year intergovernmental agreement that comes before the board this evening for its consideration and approval. The agreement between the Village of Frankfort and the Illinois Department of Transportation addresses traffic signal maintenance responsibilities along state routes, outlining the percentages of responsibility for costs associated with the traffic lights at controlled intersections. As in the past, the village is responsible for the signals on its local roads that intersect with the state routes. The motion before us this evening is to adopt a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Frankfort and the Illinois Department of Transportation for traffic signal maintenance along state routes. That's all, Mayor Ogle.
Thank you, Trustee Farina. Now at this point, we'll go over to our clerk, Katie Schubert, for the vote.
Trustee Petro? Yes. Trustee Borelli?
Yes.
Trustee Rossi?
Yes.
Trustee Ledden?
Yes.
Trustee Severia?
Yes.
Trustee Farina?
Yes.
Thank you, Katie. Clerk. Now we go to the item that is called the Mayor's Report. And the first item on here tonight is appointments to the Historic Preservation Commission and also Plan Commission appointments. And this evening I request the consent and approval of the trustees to appoint David Toper to the position of Historic Preservation Commissioner for a 3-year term. I entertain a motion from the floor for approval of this appointment.
So moved.
We have a motion from Trustee Farina and a second from Trustee Savaria. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So that motion carries. There are also 2 vacancies on the Plan Commission that have occurred with the resignation of Commissioner Kristen Machuda and the election of Michael Ledden to the office of trustee. This evening I request the consent and approval of the trustees to appoint Nicole Schaefer to the position of Plan Commissioner to fill the remainder of Michael Ledden's term, which expires on April 30th, 2023, and also to appoint David Hogan to the position of Plan Commissioner to fill the remainder of Kristen Machuda's term, which also expires April 30th, 2023. So can I get a motion to approve the appointment of Nicole Schaefer to the Plan Commission and also to fill the remainder of the appointed term of former Commissioner Michael Ledden?
So moved.
That would be Trustee Borelli and Trustee Farina. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then the second motion here would be to approve the appointment of David Hogan to the Plan Commissioner to fill the remainder of the appointed term of former Commissioner Kristen Machuda. Can I get a motion? Trustee Borelli and Trustee Savaria. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And we thank all of you for stepping up for your service here. Now we have a Historic Preservation Commission annual report and presentation, and this evening Marcia Stewart, who is the chair of the Historic Preservation Commission, will present the Commissioner's annual report for fiscal year ending April 30th, 2021. Chair Stewart's presentation is based on the Certified Local Government Report provided each year to the State Historic Preservation Office, a copy of which was mailed to the board this past Friday.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for the opportunity. You've already seen it, so I just want to highlight a few things, but first being, this is our first Historical Preservation Commission report to you all, so I'm excited about that. But it's also your first because Frankfort has its first historic landmark, and that to me is a huge accomplishment. So pat yourselves on the back for that one. It's a big one. We're very proud of that. As I'm putting my comments together, I thought about through everything we go through in our village, the one thing we have in common is our love for the village. We may not love it the same way or love it or how to get there to love it, but you know what? We all love our village. And I think the role of the Historic Preservation Commission is to help us kind of find some common ground to preserve, to protect, and to enhance. And so that's kind of my viewpoint. I did want to mention the 5 members, or the 4 members plus myself on the HPC. You've just appointed David Tepper, who brings, as I understand, a lot of background in construction and zoning. We have Stephanie Cush, who brings a lot of background in research and in instructional technology. Pat Tutko is an art teacher and an interior decorator. Chester Zmerlo is an engineer in science, farmer science teacher. They bring a lot of different talents to the HPC, and I have to feel like that's so good for the HPC, and I've never seen it quite that cool and organized before, so that's awesome. And under acknowledgments, I wanted to just bring a few points out. can never say enough about Jessica and Margaret and their support for the HPC as we've come along in these last couple of years. So I will shout out anytime I can to you two ladies. Another lady is not in this report, and I'm kicking myself that I didn't shout out Teresa Cork. She's my go-to for so many things, questions about protocol and so on, and you don't know what a jewel she is. I'm sure you do. I have to say that about Teresa. I wanted to also again commend Zach Brown and Jeff Cook. One of the highlights of the year is we revised the ordinance so that it's more workable. It's easier to process and work through. And I know Zach and Jeff had so much on their plate, yet they took extra time to get it done, which again enabled us to do the historic landmark. I also would like to thank you all for the addition to our staff of Mike Schwartz and Janine Farrell and Chris Gruba. They have been wonderful already and helpful and a great advice to our commission. So again, very wise choices. I wanted to give you, and just highlight, we do have a good working relationship with the Frankfort Area Historical Society, so all of you have a copy of the recent newsletter and about a historic building in our district that I have a pretty good suspicion will be coming up soon in many ways. But we work with them in researching our historic buildings and so on, so just a shout out to them. And then just in terms of activities, I just want to highlight that we did a lot this year. When you do it month by month, it doesn't seem like much, but when you look at this report, there was a lot accomplished. And again, I go back to the accomplishment of a local historic landmark. That is a wonderful accomplishment, and our community as a whole can take pride in that. So with that, I just thank you for the opportunity. If you ever have any questions or anything, concerns, feel free to contact me, but thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. We have some other items on here too, and as on Friday of this week, we move into Phase 5, hopefully, and we're starting to have some events that are coming back here. Fall Fest planning is in full swing. Concerts on the Green are being planned, starting on Father's Day. But the first item on here is a drive-in movie, which is going to take place Tuesday, June 8th. And the Village of Frankfort and the Frankfort Park District present a drive-in movie at Hickory Creek Middle School on Tuesday, June 8th. The feature film is Mona. It's rated PG. The gates open at 7:30, and the movie will begin at 8:15. There are limited spaces available, and pre-registration is required, so you should visit frankfortparks.org for details. There's also a Friday on the Green event scheduled for June 11th. The Frankfort Public Library will sponsor this Friday on the Green event, Friday, June 11th, from 10:30 until 12 noon. You should visit www.frankfortlibrary.org for details. And as I understand this is a pet parade, I believe, what they're going to do. That was last I heard. So also we have the Young Anglers Fishing Derby, which is scheduled for June 12th. The annual Get Hooked on Frankfort Fishing Derby will be held on Saturday, June 12th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Prairie Park for youngsters from 3 to 12. Registration is required for this event. Sign up in person at the Village Administration Building by Wednesday, June 9th. Our annual Beautification Award nominations are due by June 30th. The Summer Beautification Award nomination applications are available on the Village website. The deadline for receipt for all entries is June 30th, and the awards will be presented in July. Our Frankfort Country Market continues in historic downtown. The Modified Country Market continues in downtown Frankfort every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. You can enjoy a variety of fresh produce, prepared foods, and specialty products that are locally grown. Plus, you're going to see a lot of your friends and neighbors. So, again, we are looking forward to moving into Phase 5 and getting back to some sense of normalcy in our state and certainly in our village here. Well, that concludes the mayor's report for tonight. And we would now go to the police department and our Chief John Barica for the police department report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are also very happy to announce some of our events coming back, and we will have our Cone with a Cop on Wednesday, June 23rd at 1 o'clock, and it'll be at Culver's, which is located at 20592 South LaGrange, basically right in front of the PD. So we hope to get some people out there. As always, there's no speeches, no agendas. We are there to listen to the people and hear what they have to say. We will have Will County Canine out there to do a demonstration on their tracking. So we'll have a good event there. Of course, you can follow Facebook or Twitter if there's any updates to it or anything changes with weather. You just go inside but we're looking forward to that. Also, I'd remind residents that as summer's here and we're outside more, we do get a lot more traffic concerns. And if they do have an issue with traffic, they can obviously email us at traffic@frankfortil.org. And we get those and we can address those either through our traffic advisory committee, or if it's something that we can address right away, if there's a speed or an issue going on, we're happy to go out and do that. They can get right to us that way. Obviously, we don't need emails on Route 45. We do know what that traffic's like, and it's bad right now. So hopefully they will be done with that construction soon. And then, of course, just remind people again to call us at any time if they have a suspicious incident, anything else going on. We are here 24/7. You can call us at any time. Let us know what's going on. We'll be happy to check it. You can call anonymously. And, of course, make sure you lock your doors, take your keys and key fobs inside, and put your garage doors down at night for the hashtag 9 p.m. routine. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Now we go to our Village Administrator, Rob Pisha, for the Village Administrator's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Again, kind of stole my thunder about moving to Phase 5 on June 11th, but
Sorry,
I do
Rob.
want to encourage all of the people who have had previous events scheduled with the village to reach out to Sue Lynchy and just to coordinate those activities. The village anticipates that because we'll be at full opening, that we're going to get back to as close to a sense of normalcy as we can. So a lot of the events that we had in the past, we intend on bringing back. So, but I would just ask you just reach out to Sue just to coordinate making sure that your approvals are and any needs that are met. Also, just want to let people know that we are commenced test well on well 18, which will be the new one we're looking at over at the Elsner Water Tower. So that test well is underway to see what kind of production we're getting out of it, and hopefully it'll be a good producing well, to add to our system. But just so we're clear, there'll still be public input about the design of the building and some other issues. We'll be talking to the residents that are immediately adjacent to it. But we're just moving forward on that test well right now. That's the end of my report.
Thank you, Rob, and sorry that I stole your thunder on that one. But I think it's good news for all of us, no matter how many times we hear it from everybody. Now we go to our attorney, Hannah Lamort, for the attorney's report.
Your report tonight, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. The next item on here is other business. Is there any other business from our board? Hearing none. We'll go to public comments. Does anyone would like to make a public comment at this point? Please come up to the microphone.
Hi, my name is Richard Karch, and I'm speaking on behalf of the homeowners of Hunter Woods Estates. And I have a short paragraph I'd like to read, something we're requesting the board consider. It says, "We, the undersigned, are asking you to enact an ordinance that would require any property in the village of Frankfort that is being offered as a rental to be subject to rules governing rental property, i.e. maintenance. Also, property owners should go through a screening process and yearly inspections similar to the one in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. A copy of their rules was forwarded to Adam Nielsen, I believe his name is, recently. We have had and are still having 2 instances in our subdivision of property not being maintained, and they are both owned by the same company and managed by the same company. The board could explore a possibility of banning a company from owning property in Frankfort if they continuously violate the ordinance. Poorly maintained properties affect property values for all and also the reputation of Frankfort. I'd like to leave this with you if I can.
Yes, if you would mind, if you could bring it to our clerk, Katie Schubert, and yes. And also, if you could leave your information, we would like to be able to follow up with you on this.
I appreciate it. Thank
you.
And
thank you very much for your comments and bringing this forward. Is there anyone else who would like to make public comment? Okay. Hearing none, at this point, we are going to go into executive session. And this will be, there will be no action taken during the executive session or when we come back out of the meeting. And it'll be a discussion of purchase of real property under 5 ILCS 120/2 C5. So can I get a motion? So moved. Trustee Farina. trustee Savaria with second. And we need our clerk, Katie Schubert, to do the roll call, please.
Sorry. All right, sorry. Trustee Borelli? Aye. Trustee Rossi? Aye. Trustee Ledden?
Aye.
Trustee Savaria?
Yes.
Trustee Farina?
Yes.
And Trustee Petro? Where did I start? Sorry.
You're good.
Yes.
Okay. All right, at this time, we are going into executive session. As I mentioned, we will not be taking any action when we come out of executive session. And